Hello and welcome to the Sister Cousins Lifestyle channel. In today's video, we're going to be going thrifting in the Detroit metropolitan area. Detroit is home for me if you don't know, and when I come home on a visit, it's always a lot of fun, but it's sad at the same time. It's sad because I can only come for a short time, and I've got lots of family, lots of friends, lots of church family from my whole church that are here that I would love to be able to see and visit with, but the time is always limited and I'm not able to do it. So I have to, take all of that into consideration. It's a limited trip. I also want to see a little bit of the city as well. So it's a lot going on. But anyway, I slipped into town real quick for just a few days, and I did get a chance to enjoy some of the downtown Detroit area and also some thrifting. This first thrift store that we're going in here is the Salvation Army, and this store is located in Royal Oak, Michigan. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to find anything in here, but I'm not going to limit myself because there's always shipping things home if need be. I am flying on this trip, so if I carry anything back, it will have to be something really small. So I have to keep that in mind as I'm coming through the store and looking at the things that they have in home decor. This store was well organized, but they didn't have a lot to offer as it relates to home decor. They had a lot of clothing, they had a lot of shoes, things like that. But in the home decor section, it was pretty small, but what they did have it organized nicely. It's been a while since I thrifted at the Salvation Army. The one that was closest to me back in the Charlotte area is closed now, so I tend to just go to the Goodwill. So this is a treat to get into a Salvation Army and see what they've got going on. Those turquoise chairs are really pretty there. And they've got this section here where they have all of their glasses and everything situated here. I like the way they have them displayed like that. Easy to see what they have and don't have or whatever. But let's come over here and check out their art pieces. They've got some mirrors here. They've got some wall art pieces here. Nothing that is really catching my eye or anything that I would say I've got to have this and figure out a way to get it back home. But it was fun to come in here and take a look anyway, just to see what they might have, what deals, because you just never know when and where you will look upon the perfect piece. This is a nice piece here. I like this candle holder. That would be nice, like on a buffet, credenza, end table, whatever. It could also be a centerpiece on a dining room table or whatever. I could see that being really nice. That is $10 for that piece. Very nice. And they had some furniture pieces and things like that, end tables, sofas, and here's some more art and mirrors and things like that. So I want to take a second look over here, make sure I'm not missing out on anything before I head on to the next location. This mirror here is really nice. That would be nice over a entryway table or something like that. That's a really nice piece. It was $20 for that, and it has some really good weight to it. That would be a very nice piece there. Could also be used in the bathroom. This is a nice little piece here. Reminds me of like a gaming chair or something for a theater room in a home or whatever. Faux leather's got a nice look to it. Looks like it was kept in pretty good condition. And yeah, that's the price for that. I guess $250 is not a bad price for that. It looks very comfortable. But yeah, the thrift stores really have gone up in price. They didn't have a lot in the store today that really wowed me. Let me know in the comments below if anything caught your eye, because many times what happens is, as I'm walking through and I'm filming with one hand and kind of checking out things and checking out my surroundings and all of the things, I miss out on a lot of things. Like this lamp here, I walked right by it when I walked in the store and I didn't see it. It's in a basket here. It was really cute, like nice black lampshade on it and a brass base, and the lampshade has a little gold rim on it. That was really cute. That wasn't priced though. I guess these things are being put out or whatever, but yeah, that's what they had. And they had a few little Christmas items as well, so I guess that is a universal thing across the country. They just add Christmas items whenever. Now this table and chair set here, now this is a find right here. This is a nice set. I really did like this. The table was $50 and the chairs were $20 each. Not a bad price at all for this set. $130 for this, a table and chair set. Not bad at all, and it's beautiful. I really like this. I really like the high backs on the chairs. Very classic and very nice. This is another nice piece here. I think they wanted $10 for this. It would be really nice. Just give it a paint job and everything and set it up in your home. That would be beautiful display. You could do water bottles or wine in it. We are going to be hitting up another thrift store in the area, so be sure to keep on watching to see what that store is all about. But this is what the Salvation Army had on hand. Just a lot of miscellaneous little table decor pieces like this, and they didn't have a very large book section, but I did see this one here that I wanted to check out. I love coffee table books, and I love the aesthetic of this one as I pulled it out. But as I investigated it further, I saw that this was nothing that I wanted to bring home. It was heavy too, so there's that when traveling. And then I was looking around and I noticed this, another thing that I passed by the first time. This is shaped like the state of Michigan, and it's like a little bowl for fruits, or you could do like a charcuterie board or something like that. That was cute. Well, that is about all there is to see in this particular store. So we're going to head on over here, and we're going to do a little bit of resting down by the waterfront before we check out the next thrift store. The next thrift store is really good. I was very excited about this spot. Can't wait to show you it. So let's get on over to get some rest, pick up some lunch, and then start shopping again. Let's go. So this is a shot here down on Detroit's Riverfront area. And what you're looking at across the water here is Canada. I believe I've shared a video where I was thrift shopping in Canada previously. Hopefully it has already come out. But yeah, this is what it looks like from the Detroit side looking over into Canada. It is beautiful to come down here. There's all kinds of parks and things like that all along the riverfront. Going down to a place that we call Belle Isle. But yeah, it's very beautiful, and you can see the bridge there, and that bridge is what takes you over to Canada. But now it's time to leave this beautiful place and head on over to the next thrift spot. This spot here is located in Ferndale, Michigan, right outside of Detroit, and you can see from the outside of this place that you're ready to see some interesting things. It's called Vogue Vintage, and it was amazing. Let's go inside. Now, you know I love places like this. When it's unique and different, I love it. Now, when I first came in, I must admit I was a little bit weirded out initially because there were like these mannequins and things, and I did not see a live person at first. It was kind of eerie at first, but I had to settle myself down and pray a bit, and I continued on through, and it was fine. I finally found the guy that was working in here. He was very nice, and I had a great time. Now let's check out some of the beautiful things that I saw in here. Look at this lamp here. Now this store is vintage, but most of the items are mid-century modern, which is an era that I love. I absolutely love this era, so I get excited when I can look at home decor, furnishings, and things like that from that time period. That's one of my favorite time periods for decor at this time. So it's exciting to come in and see all the pieces that they have. This is an interesting piece here, and I believe it is a knife holder or something like that, but it was interesting the way that it looked here, and it was on a little stand. That's very different. This store was packed. It was very hard to focus on any one thing. They had these ashtrays here that's very 60s and 70s. You just don't see ashtrays anymore. First of all, does anybody smoke anymore? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, they had a lot of different things like that in here. Nice furniture, nice chairs. These bar stools here were really nice. Yeah, these chairs here are nice with the chrome on it. Very nice. The thing that excites me most about coming in stores like this is the variety. You know, in my last video where I was in Home Goods, I mentioned how everything was the same pretty much. It all just kind of started to blend together. All the same colors, all the same textures, all of that going on. So I enjoy and can appreciate coming into a store where you see some variety and color and things like that. Like, look at this little yellow piece here. That's something, isn't it? And I love how they had these little moments here. They had the record player here, and they had the little get up here with the lady with the hat on and the lamp on the table. But look at this little dresser. This is really cute. I don't do yellow like that, but this is a nice piece, and I can certainly appreciate the piece, but I don't appreciate the price. You see that? Oh my goodness, $2,800 for this piece. It's nice though. It's really nice. I don't know anything about the brand of that or why that piece would be that expensive, but not everything in this store was as expensive. They had a lot of pieces in here that were very affordable, so it was a mixed bag and probably something for everyone. This is a cute little set here. This little lavender drink set, very, very cute. It was $150 for that. Yep, that's what they wanted for that. Cute though. You see this mannequin here. I'm telling you, there were so many things in here that looked like it was people at first glance, and it was kind of weird, but anyway, I got through it. This is a nice little globe here. You know, I love globes. This was really, really nice. It kind of glowed, and I'm not sure if it was just the light above it or what, but it was a nice globe. This place looks so small from the outside, but it's really big, and they actually have a second floor too. We're going to be going up there in a minute, so be ready for that. It was really interesting. They had lots of light fixtures hanging from the ceiling, as well as lamps and things like that to choose from. All types of decor pieces, table decor, serving utensils and carafes. These bottles here, very vintage, very mid-century modern. I don't know what you call them, carafes or jars, bottles, whatever. These are some really nice lamps here. And this is one of those places that when you come in, you have to look high because they have things. They are using up all their space, vertical and horizontal. It's definitely kind of place I could spend hours in here just looking and going around the store, looking at things and Googling things to find out what they are, because some of the things I saw in here was like, what is this? I don't even know what it is, but it was interesting, you know, just so much to see. And here are some more lamps that are over here. They had a lot of lamps, just a lot of them. That just seems to be the thing that they always have at thrift stores, vintage stores, whatever. Or maybe that's just the thing that I focus on because I love interesting lighting. This one here was $275. It was very nice. That black one there is really different with that base there with the texture on it. That is really, really a different lamp. That is like nothing that I've ever seen before. It just needs a little paint job there on the lampshade, but that's a beautiful lamp. I wish I had unlimited time on this trip because I would definitely have stayed in here a lot longer than I did or come back another time, another day or whatever. But the time was not on my side. I had things to do, people to see, places to go. So I had to limit my time here. I don't know why they had this disco ball going on in here. It's too much stuff in here already and too much going on to have the distraction of a disco ball. But it was here. They had a poster of Leontine Price. I haven't seen her in like forever, or a picture of her. I remember my parents had, I guess they had an album of hers back in the day. I just remember her face and everything. But yeah, they had that in here. Just random things. They had some vinyls too. We're going to see some of those once we go upstairs. I'm moving a little bit faster through here now because I'm running out of time. I spent so much time downstairs, and I definitely want to have enough time upstairs to really get a look around. Here's a tortoiseshell picture here, but look at the shape of that. That's really different. That is an old table and chair set over there that looks like something from probably the mid to late 60s, early 70s, not sure. These here are really nice. Now, these are marble, and I'm not sure what the horse heads are made out of, but they are good quality, and they were heavy. That side table there caught my attention. I had to get a closer look at that. They wanted $195 for it. It was a very unique piece. It had like a double layer there. It was glass. It was black, like a lacquer, and then it had a dark wood base on it. Very nice, very mid-century modern. Very, very nice. Love that. And they had a style with a cute little mid-century lamp there. Very cute. So now it's time to check out the upstairs, and they even have the staircase decorated with interesting art pieces. They had some old phones here. It was just very interesting to see. So you were looking at art and decor pieces all the way up the stairs. Just so interesting. So let's see what they have up here. And the upstairs was just as interesting as the downstairs. As you step in, you see a lot of artwork, you see a lot of furniture, and they had them set up more like little rooms so you could really, really see what this what the pieces could look like in a home or whatever, or how they were styled back in the day or whatever the case may be. But anyway, they had some nice artwork. This one here was really, really nice. I like that one. That was an interesting little lamp there, table lamp that they had set up there. And yeah, you'll see here that they have things very high up as well as down. So you have to continue to look up. That little candle holder there, that shape like an instrument. I love that. And I thought about that for my Christmas, because I always do a music theme when I do my Christmas decor every year. So that would be a beautiful piece to add to it. But I did not bring it home because it was just going to be too much trouble and I didn't need it. I have enough instruments. But yeah, check out the art pieces here. They had some originals here throughout the store. So you had to take a look closely to see if it was something that was hand painted or hand sketched or whatever. But you could definitely find some gems in here. And I'll say it many times, I love mixing vintage pieces in with my modern decor that I style with primarily in my home. It just adds so much more interest to your home. And that's what really makes your home stand out as different, because you don't have everything that the retail stores have today down at Ross, Home Goods, Home Sense, that type of thing. You'll find pieces here that you're just not going to find any and everywhere. And they're pieces that are different. They're pieces that are conversation pieces. And with those conversation pieces, that's how you curate a home and really make it your own. This little sofa or settee is just so cute, so different. I love the shape of it. It's very small, little mini place. Will be perfect for a small home or small spot in your home. I'm very selective about the vintage pieces or antique pieces that I select for my home, because I don't want my home to look old. I just want it to be different. So that's a challenge in and of itself, because if you put too many antique pieces in, it would not be long before you create more of an older traditional style home, and that is absolutely not my goal. I'm just looking for high quality pieces that match nicely with my modern style that I have going on. This brass lamp here was $175. It was a beautiful lamp, very good quality. This is another really cute lamp here. I love the unique style of that. Look at that, very different. Throughout the store, they had a lot of wall art. I tried to look at all of it, but I'm sure I missed probably half of it because it was hard to focus. And the way that they kind of had them in here, it was very hard to see them all, because I didn't want to really touch anything unnecessarily, because I wasn't trying to break anything in here. They had a whole little Barbie section here for anybody that is a Barbie doll collector. I'm not a collector, but I do like looking at the dolls, because I like to see if they have any that I remember having as a child. They have some really old ones out here, so some of them date all the way back to the 60s and 70s. So yeah. I definitely want to purchase something from this store, but like I said, it has to be something small, and everything that I see that I would love to bring home with me is too large, or not anything that I want to go through the trouble with. So I want something that I can really, really use, but that's something that's going to be easy to travel with, if that makes any sense. So I don't know why I'm looking at this artwork, because it's not going to be easy to travel with in the event that I were to find anything. This little tea set was cute. It was $40 for that set. Yeah, just kind of looking around, seeing what else I can find here. And like I said, I was checking out the pieces that were on the walls as well, hoping that I would find something small that I could just take home with me. I just wanted something to remember this store by. But I told the man I would definitely be coming back in here, because I really enjoyed it. And I felt that they just had a beautiful store with some beautiful things in here. The lampshade on here is very, very different. It's a floor lamp here, but they messed up with the base and that little ornamentation there around that. That's not good. But that could have been nice. Or I guess I should say I just really like the lampshade. I love that. It's so different. And that's a cute little white chair there. Looks like a swivel chair. Little table next to that. Oh my God, I tell you, I cannot say enough. There's just so much to see in here. I just cannot believe this little store was here and that I didn't know about it. Not that I do a lot of thrifting when I come here, because I never have time, but I definitely will be adding this to my schedule. Look at this lamp. It looks like a little, kind of like the tortoiseshell base there, and that lampshade. That is gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I'm not buying no more lamps. I'm not buying any more lamps. I'm not buying any more lamps. and I have to move away quickly. In all fairness, though, I did just recently sell some of my lamps on Facebook Marketplace, that I'd had for a long time, and it was just time for them to go so that I could make room. So yeah, there's that. This was a nice little piece here. As I looked at it, though, it just looked like a man that was taken into bondage, which was really humbling here to see that. But yeah, it's another part of thrifting or vintage shopping, I should say, is that you see things sometimes that you would rather not see or rather not remember, but it is a part of history. And so I choose to remember history because if you know history, you don't repeat it. Okay, so we need to know our history and understand it and all of that. I got a nice little chuckle out of this sign. It says, "Creative women may have cobwebs in their corners, but not in their minds." That was too cute and so true. If you are a creative person, your mind is always racing and thinking of things that you can do next. And that's just kind of the nature of how it goes. So, anyway, here's a cute little vintage gumball machine there. I thought that was cute. Will was with me shopping here. He never wants to be on camera, so that's why you don't see him. But he was questioning that car that you see hanging there. He was like, why would they have that in here? Like, who would want that? And I was telling him there's something for everybody. And so I Googled it, and of course, some of those cars came up on eBay, and they were selling for as much as $300. So there's a market for them because they're out there, and people seem to want them. But anyway, that was kind of funny. He was like, nobody's going to buy that thing. But anyway, we were just looking around up here. It was fascinating to him as well, although he doesn't have the same appreciation for vintage as I do. But we had a good time in here. I spotted a statue that I loved, and I wanted to get a closer look at him. He was a little bit more expensive than, or a little bit more than I wanted to pay for him. But that was a nice piece. I don't know why, but it just caught my attention, and I really liked it, and I wanted to get a closer look at it. That's it. It's just an abstract piece of art. Looks like a man with his hand around his head or whatever. That was all very simple. And I believe it was like $90 or something like that. So yeah, I left him there. But yeah, just one last look around the store before we head out of here. I'm starting to get hungry, and so I have a spot that I want to check out, and I'll be sharing that as well with you since we can't go home and do any decorating because we're out of town. So, yeah, so we're going to be doing that. Look at this little thing here. I couldn't figure out what this was. I guess it was an old lamp because it has that small hole through there. I thought initially that it was a vase until I got closer, but yeah, that was the last piece that I wanted to share with you. So here we are now leaving this store. This is the surrounding area, the outside of the store. It was really, really cute. I just had so much fun in this store today. And I did find a little something to take home with me. You see, I have a small little bag there, and I'll be sharing more about that once I get back home to the Carolinas. But anyway, on with the video, and I'm going to take you with me to lunch. And lunch today was at a restaurant called Coriander Kitchen, and it was located in Detroit, Michigan on Alta Road on one of the canals. A very, very unique little farm-to-table restaurant. Never been here before, never heard of it before. So this should be interesting. But this is the setup. This is if you're sitting outside, this is your view. You were sitting right on a canal. And they have these little picnic tables set out here. And yeah, that's the scene. And you know I love a good vibe, and a vibe it was, so I enjoyed it. It was a great experience. It was a perfect day to dine outside. They didn't have any bugs or anything flying around, so I could appreciate that. And every once in a while, we'd see a nice little swan swim by, so that was a nice little touch. And I ordered a Caesar salad, and it was the most interesting Caesar salad I've ever had in my life. It was served with pine cones. It had the Parmesan cheese on it and everything. And on the side there, those are buttered radishes, and they were delicious. I'm not a radish fan, but those buttered radishes, whatever that is, were yummy. And there was one other place that I want to stop before I left Detroit, and that is the old train station, which has been refurbished, remodeled, and reopened. And I'm excited to come in. This will be my first time in this train station in a lot of years. The last time I was here, I was a very small child. This train station opened closed during my childhood, and it was abandoned for years and years. And finally, someone decided to refinish it and restore it to its original glory. They maintained as much of the traditional building or the old building as they possibly could. The marble is the same, the brick for the most part is the same. Some of it they've had to add into it, but a lot of it is the original brick and everything. And this train station dates back to the early 1900s. Ford Motor Company opened it back up just recently, I think about a year or so ago, and they use it for their corporate offices now. There's also lots of shops in here. They do events in here, small concerts, things like that. And it's beautiful to see. I just love it because most of my life that I can remember, this building had been abandoned for a very long time, and they were starting to have homeless living in here and whatnot. When they restored it, they did retain some of the graffiti that had been written on the walls over the years, just to as a reminder of how far this place has come. So that was kind of good to see and very interesting as well. But it's really beautiful. I really enjoyed my visit here. And while we were just sitting in the atrium, I decided to entertain myself. They had this large coloring board, so that's me up there coloring in this board electronically or digitally or whatever you call it. That was fun. We were here at an off time, but they were setting up for the evening's events, which were going to be some concerts and things like that. I was bummed that I wouldn't be around for that, but it was fun to at least get in here and see what it's looking like. Well, guys, thanks for coming along for my time in my home city of Detroit. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did and you're not subscribed, I would like to ask that you consider hitting that subscribe button before you leave today. I would love to have you as a part of my YouTube family. And to all my returning family members, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that I see you all over here on my next one. See you back when I get back into the Carolinas. Bye-bye.